For over 100 years, the aliens of the Galactic Council had listened to Earth. Radio signals, TV shows, internet data, and military messages had poured from the blue planet into space. Earth was the noisiest planet in this part of the galaxy. The aliens never said hello. They just watched and listened from far away. In the main listening room of the Galactic Council's space station, senior observer Kestval stared at his screen. The line that showed Earth's signals had gone flat. There was nothing coming from Earth anymore. No radio, no TV, no military messages, just silence. "Run the tests again," he told his assistant, a small green alien named Miptor. "I already did, sir. 3 times," Miptor said, her 6 fingers moving quickly over the control panel. "Our machines are working fine. Earth has just gone quiet." Kistval felt his 4 hearts beat faster. In all his 30 years working for the Council, he had never seen anything like this. He checked the other screens. All other planets were normal. Only Earth was silent. "How long has it been this way?" he asked. The signals began dropping 12 hours ago. First, the smaller signals disappeared, then the bigger ones. After 3 hours, everything was gone. Kistval touched a button on his uniform. "Get me Council Leader Trilmax." Now. 10 minutes later, Kestval stood before the 7 members of the High Council. Their blue skin looked extra pale under the bright lights. "Earth has gone silent," Kestval explained. "All signals stopped 12 hours ago." Council Leader Trilmax leaned forward. His long fingers formed a pyramid shape. "What do we know about the cause?" "Nothing yet. The planet still looks normal from our distance. Cities are still there. Lights still shine on the night side." Defense Minister Orlasek slammed her hand on the table. "This has happened before. Twice. Both times it meant the same thing. The species destroyed itself." "Let's not jump to bad ideas," said Science Minister Vorknall. "Earth has been interesting to watch. Humans move faster than other young races. They went from horse rides to space rockets in just a few hundred years. That's what worries me," said Orlasek. "They're unpredictable." Trilmax stood up. "We need more information. Kestval, order our closest ship, the Whisper, to go to Earth. They should stay hidden and find out what happened." "Yes, sir." As Kestval left the room, he heard the council members still talking. They were worried. In the million years of watching other planets, sudden silence usually meant something bad had happened. 3 days later, Captain Eilerzan of the Whisper received his orders. His ship was the fastest in the fleet, but it would still take 2 weeks to reach Earth. "Set course for the Sol system," he told his crew. "Maximum speed." As the Whisper jumped into faster-than-light travel, rumors spread across the galaxy. Earth, the noisy little planet with the strange, fast-developing humans, had gone silent. Some aliens thought it was good news. The noisy neighbors had finally quieted down. Others worried about what it meant. But no one suspected the truth, that the silence was not an end, but a beginning. The humans had not destroyed themselves. They had simply decided to stop broadcasting their presence to the stars. And soon, the galaxy would find out why. The Whisper moved quietly through the darkness of space. Captain Eilerzan stood on the bridge, his yellow eyes fixed on the blue planet growing larger on the main screen. "Slow to half speed," he ordered. "Engage all stealth systems." "Yes, Captain," said pilot Jean-Lur, her 6 fingers dancing across the control panel. The Whisper was the best spy ship in the Galactic Council's fleet. Its outer shell could change color to match the space around it. Its engines made almost no noise. Even its heat was hidden by special technology. "We are now in Earth's solar system," Captain reported Jean-Lur, approaching the planet in 5 hours. Science Officer Marine Dole moved to stand beside the captain. "Sir, I'm getting strange readings." "What kind of readings?" asked Eilerzan. "The planet appears normal. Cities still stand. Oceans are clean. No signs of war or disaster. Mrindol looked confused. But something is different. It's like Earth is covered by something. A shield? Asked the captain. Maybe, but not like any shield we've seen before. For the next 5 hours, the crew of the Whisper prepared for their mission. They studied old Earth broadcasts, practiced speaking human languages, and prepared their human disguises. As they reached Earth orbit, the mystery only grew deeper. "Captain, I can detect normal activity on the planet," said Mrindol. "Cars moving on roads, planes flying, ships sailing, but no signals are leaving the atmosphere. Something is blocking them." Captain Elerzan made a decision. In his 20 years as a captain, he had never done this before. "Prepare a shuttle. We're sending down a team." The crew looked shocked. The Galactic Council had strict rules about contacting less advanced species. Humans were not ready for first contact. "Sir, is that wise?" asked Security Chief Plonder. "No," admitted Elerzan. "But the Council needs answers, and we won't find them from up here." 4 hours later, a small team led by cultural specialist Vrinkos was ready. Their shuttle was disguised to look like a human aircraft. Their bodies were covered with special suits that made them look like humans. They had studied human behavior for years by watching Earth's TV shows and movies. "Remember," said Captain Elerzan, as the team prepared to leave, "do not reveal yourselves. Just observe and report back. Find out why Earth went silent." The shuttle left the Whisper and flew down to Earth under cover of darkness. They landed in a forest near a small town called Lakeside, in a place humans called Idaho. "The town is small," said Vrinkos to her team. "Easier to blend in. We'll go in, listen to local humans, and leave before dawn." The 4 disguised aliens walked from the forest to the town. Lights glowed in windows. A few cars moved on the streets. Everything seemed normal. They found a place called Joe's Bar and Grill, where humans were gathering. Through the window, they could see humans drinking, talking, and watching something called baseball on screens. "Perfect," said Vrinkos. "We'll go in, order drinks like normal humans, listen to conversations, and leave. Remember your training." The aliens entered the bar and sat at a table in the corner. A human female approached them. "Evening, folks," she said with a smile. "What can I get you?" Vrinkos had practiced this. "4 beers, please." The waitress, whose name tag read Linda, nodded and walked away. "So far, so good," whispered Vrinkos. But at the bar counter, a man named Frank Miller was watching them closely. He took out his phone and sent a text message. "They're here, just like we expected." In a secure room beneath the town's small police station, Officer Dan Brown read the message and picked up a special phone. "This is Lakeside. First contact has been made." Linda brought 4 beers to the table where the disguised aliens sat. Vrinkos handed her some human money they had made using their ship's computers. "You folks passing through?" Linda asked with a friendly smile. "Yes," said Vrinkos, "just for tonight." "Well, enjoy your stay in Lakeside." The aliens sipped their beers slowly, listening to the humans around them. They heard talk about weather, sports, and local news. Nothing about why Earth had gone silent. After 20 minutes, Frank Miller stood up from the bar and walked over to their table. He was tall with gray hair and wore a red shirt with Lakeside Fishing Club written on it. "Mind if I join you?" he asked. Before Vrinkos could answer, Frank sat down. The aliens looked at each other nervously. "Nice night," said Frank. "Where are you folks from?" Vrinkos had prepared for this question. "We're from Seattle, just passing through on our way east." Frank nodded and took a sip of his drink. Then he leaned in closer. "That's funny, because I've been to Seattle many times, and you don't sound like you're from there." The aliens shifted in their seats. Vrinkos tried to stay calm. "We moved there recently." Frank smiled. "I'll be direct. You're not human. But don't worry. We've been expecting visitors since we went dark. The 4 aliens froze. Their disguises were perfect. They had practiced human speech and movements for years. How had this human seen through them? Vrinkos opened her mouth to deny it, but Frank held up his hand. Save it. I know what you are, and I know why you're here. Around the bar, other humans were watching now. The bartender, a big man named Steve, locked the front door. A woman in a blue jacket moved to block the back door. How did you know? Asked Vrinkos finally. Frank tapped his wrist. A small screen appeared, showing a scan of the 4 aliens. Their true forms were visible on the screen. Tall, thin bodies with blue skin and large eyes. We've had alien detection technology for years, said Frank. Did you really think we couldn't see through those disguises? The aliens looked around the room. Every human was now looking at them. Some held small devices pointed at them. We mean no harm, said Vrinkos. We just came to find out why Earth went silent. The woman by the back door walked over. My name is Diane Clark. I work for Earth Defense. You're the response team we expected after we activated the shield. Shield? Asked one of the other aliens. The Faraday shield, said Diane. It blocks all signals from leaving our planet. We know you've been listening to us for decades. We decided it was time to stop broadcasting. Frank's phone buzzed. He looked at it and nodded to Diane. Team is coming to take our visitors to headquarters, he said. What will you do with us? Asked Vrinkos, feeling fear for the first time. Diane smiled. Talk. Learn. Exchange information. We're not monsters. 10 minutes later, black cars pulled up outside. Men and women in dark uniforms entered the bar. Thank you all, said their leader, a woman named Kate Young. We'll take it from here. As the aliens were led outside, they saw their shuttle being loaded onto a large truck. Your ship in orbit, said Kate. We've been tracking it since it entered our solar system. Don't worry. We've already sent a message letting them know you're safe. How? Asked Vrinkos. If your shield blocks signals. Kate smiled. The shield only blocks what we want it to block. We've been able to send focused messages for years. Your captain will get our message in exactly the way you'd expect to receive it. As the cars drove away, the aliens realized the truth. Humans were far more advanced than anyone in the Galactic Council had believed. Deep underground, beneath a normal-looking office building in Washington, D.C., Admiral Alan Foster walked through a long hallway. The walls were white and lights ran along the ceiling. Guards stood at every door. This was the headquarters of the Earth Defense Initiative, or EDI. Very few people knew it existed. Admiral Foster entered a large room filled with screens and computers. Men and women in blue uniforms worked at stations. In the center was a round table where important people waited. The aliens from Lakeside have arrived at Base 2, he announced. Their ship in orbit has received our message. Dr. Olivia Jordan nodded. She was the head scientist of EDI, a smart woman with short brown hair and glasses. And their response? Confusion, mostly, said Admiral Foster with a small smile. They didn't expect us to know about them, let alone be able to contact them on their own channels. General Paul Rodriguez, a tall man with a serious face, pointed to one of the big screens. It showed the Whisper, the alien ship orbiting Earth. Can we trust them not to attack? They won't, said Dr. Jordan. The Galactic Council are watchers, not fighters. They've been studying us for nearly a century without making contact. Why did we activate the shield now? Asked a woman in a business suit. She was Lisa Bell, the president's advisor. Admiral Foster touched a control panel, and a new image appeared on the main screen. It showed a map of space around Earth with dozens of small dots. These are alien monitoring devices, he explained. We found the first one 20 years ago. Since then, we've discovered hundreds. They've been watching us very closely. Too closely. And they were getting more active, added Dr. Jordan. Last month, we detected 3 new scout ships entering our solar system. We decided it was time to show them we know they're there." "By going silent," said Lisa. "Exactly," said Admiral Foster. "The Faraday shield blocks all signals from leaving Earth. To them, it looks like we suddenly disappeared." "And it worked," said General Rodriguez. "They sent a ship to check on us." In another part of the building, the 4 aliens from Lakeside sat in a comfortable room. It wasn't a prison cell. There were soft chairs, tables with food and water, and large windows showing the underground base. Vrinkos looked at her team members. "This is not what I expected." "Me neither," said Mitblor, the youngest of the group. "They're treating us well." "Because they want something," said Dreampax, the security expert. "They didn't bring us here for no reason." The door opened, and Diane Clark walked in with 2 others. A young man in a white coat and an older woman in a military uniform. "I hope you're comfortable," said Diane. "I'm sorry about the surprise in Lakeside, but we needed to make contact in a controlled way." "How long have you known about us?" asked Vrinkos. The older woman stepped forward. "I'm Colonel Susan White. We've known about the Galactic Council for 20 years. We found your first monitoring device in 2004. "Impossible," said Dreampax. "Our technology is too advanced for humans to detect." The young man in the white coat smiled. "I'm Dr. Jack Green. Your technology was advanced, but not impossible to find once we knew what to look for. We've captured 3 of your devices, studied them, learned from them." Vrinkos felt her heart's beating faster. "Is that why you activated the shield? To show us you know?" Diane nodded. "Partly, but also because we're ready to join the galactic community, not as a primitive species to be studied, but as equals." "Equals?" Dreampax looked surprised. "Your technology is centuries behind ours." Colonel White smiled. "Are you sure about that? Look outside." The aliens turned to the window. In the massive underground hangar beyond, they saw something impossible. A ship that looked exactly like their own vessel, the Whisper. On the Galactic Council's home planet, Zentera Prime, emergency alarms were ringing. Council leader Trilnax hurried into the grand meeting hall. The 7 members of the High Council were already there, their blue faces showing worry. "What's happening now?" asked Trilnax. Defense Minister Orlasek pointed to the main screen. "The Whisper has sent a message. They made contact with humans." "That wasn't in their orders," said Trilnax angrily. "They didn't have a choice," said Science Minister Vorknow. "The humans knew they were coming. They captured the scout team." Trilnax sat down heavily in his chair. "Show me the full message." The screen lit up with Captain Illerzan's face. He looked worried. "High Council, I have disturbing news," he said. "Humans have known about us for years. They built a shield to block their signals on purpose. They captured our team easily, using technology that could see through our best disguises." The council members looked at each other in shock. "The humans sent us a message," continued Captain Illerzan. "They say our team is safe. They want to talk. But there's more." He paused. "They have ships, council leaders. Ships just like ours. Somehow, they've copied our technology." The message ended. The room was silent for a long moment. "How is this possible?" asked Minister Trielvox finally. "Humans should be centuries away from such technology." "They must have captured and studied our monitoring devices," said Vorknow. "We've had those around Earth for nearly 100 years." "This is a disaster," said Orlasek, pounding her fist on the table. "If humans can build ships like ours, they could attack at any time." "Why would they attack?" asked Vorknow. "If they wanted war, they would have destroyed our monitoring devices years ago. Instead, they studied them." "Then why go silent?" demanded Orlasek. "Why show their hand now?" "To get our attention," said Trilnax quietly. "They'd want to talk." Word spread quickly across the galaxy. Secret meetings were held on 100 worlds. Species that had never cared about humans suddenly wanted to know everything about them. On the trade planet Boskar, an alien news broadcaster stood before a crowd. "The primitive planet Earth has shocked the galaxy," she said. "Humans, thought to be simple creatures who spend most of their time watching moving pictures and arguing about politics, have revealed advanced technology." In high-security military bases throughout Council space, commanders reviewed what little they knew about human warfare. "They fight all the time," said one general to his team. "Their history is full of wars. They've bombed their own cities. They've developed weapons that can destroy their whole planet. And now they might have ships," said his assistant nervously. "On luxury cruise ships and in poor mining colonies, in schools and in factories, aliens talked about humans. Some were afraid. Some were excited. Some didn't believe the stories." Back on Earth, in the underground EDI base, Admiral Foster watched all this through intercepted Council communications. "It's working," he said to Dr. Jordan. "The whole galaxy is talking about us." "Are we pushing too hard?" she asked. Some of them seemed scared. "Good," said General Rodriguez. "Fear brings respect." "Or it brings armies," countered Dr. Jordan. Admiral Foster shook his head. "We don't want war. We just want them to know they can't treat us like children anymore." In their comfortable room, the 4 alien visitors watched videos about Earth's history. They saw how humans went from horse-drawn carriages to space rockets in just 100 years. They saw world wars and peace treaties. They saw a species that never stopped moving forward. "They learned so quickly," whispered Vrinkos. "No wonder the Council is afraid." President William Hayes stood at a podium in the United Nations building in New York. Behind him sat leaders from every major country on Earth. Before him sat hundreds of reporters from around the world. Cameras broadcast his speech to billions of people. "Today," he said in a clear voice, "I can finally tell the truth. Earth is not alone in the universe." Gasps filled the room, though many had guessed this was coming. For the past week, governments have been hinting at major news about our place in the universe. "For 50 years, the president continued, we've known we are being watched. For 30 years, we've been studying their technology. For 15 years, we've been preparing for this moment." On giant screens behind him, images appeared. They showed strange metal objects floating in space, alien monitoring devices that had been secretly captured. The Galactic Council, a group of advanced alien species, has been watching Earth for nearly a century. They've been listening to our radio and TV, studying our wars and our peace, watching our progress. Dr. Olivia Jordan stepped up to the podium next. She wore a simple blue suit, and her voice was calm as she explained. "The Faraday shield that we activated 3 weeks ago wasn't just to get their attention. It was to test our systems against their technology. The shield works. Our defensive systems work. We can detect their ships and their disguised agents." She pointed to new images on the screen. They showed the 4 aliens from Lakeside, both in their human disguises and in their real blue-skinned forms. "These visitors are not our enemies," she said. "They are simply observers who were sent to check on us when we went silent. We have treated them with respect, and we will continue to do so." General Rodriguez took the stage next. His uniform was decorated with medals, and his face was serious. "Over the years, we captured 3 of their observation ships. We studied them. We learned how they work, and we built our own." The screen showed a massive underground hangar. Inside were 12 ships that looked exactly like alien vessels. "We are not preparing for war," the general said firmly. "We are preparing for peace, but from a position of strength." President Hayes returned to the podium. "People of Earth, we stand at a turning point in human history. Soon, we will send a delegation to the Galactic Council. Humanity will not enter the galactic community as a primitive curiosity or as a weak species. We will enter as equals. In living rooms and offices, in cars and on phones, humans around the world watched in amazement. Some were scared. Some were excited. Some didn't believe it at all. In their room at the EDI base, the 4 aliens watched the broadcast too. "This is unprecedented," said Vrinkos. "No species has ever done this before. Copied our technology before official first contact." "They're breaking all the rules," said Dreampax angrily. "Because they don't know the rules," said Miplor. "We never told them." A human entered the room. It was Admiral Foster. "What did you think of the president's speech?" he asked. "Humans move too fast," said Dreampax. "The council will see this as a threat." Admiral Foster sat down across from them. "Let me ask you something. If we had waited for you to make contact, how would it have happened?" Vrinkos answered, "The council would have monitored Earth until you reached a certain technological level. Then we would have offered you membership as a junior species," added Admiral Foster, "under your protection and guidance, following your rules." "Yes," admitted Vrinkos. Admiral Foster smiled. "That's not how humans work. We prefer to meet as equals or not at all." "But you're not our equals," said Dreampax. "Really?" Admiral Foster raised an eyebrow. "We detected your monitors. We copied your technology. We captured your team without harming them. We can communicate on your channels. What exactly are we missing?" The aliens had no answer for that. 1 month after Earth went silent, a ship approached the Galactic Council's space station. It wasn't a council ship. It was Earth-built, but it looked like the council's best vessels. On its side was painted EDS Friendship, and below that, United Earth. Inside the council's grand meeting hall, hundreds of alien representatives waited nervously. Security was at its highest level ever. No one knew what to expect from these humans. "They're docking now," announced a council guard. Council leader Trilnax straightened his formal robes. Beside him, the other 6 members of the High Council tried to look calm. The main doors slid open. A group of 20 humans walked in. They wore matching blue uniforms with a patch showing Earth with olive branches around it. At the front walked a woman with short gray hair and a confident smile. This was Ambassador Beth Collins, chosen to represent all of Earth. The room was silent as the humans walked to the center of the hall. Ambassador Collins bowed slightly to the council members. "Distinguished representatives of the Galactic Council," she said in a clear voice, "Earth sends its greetings." Her words were translated through small devices all humans wore. Every alien in the room could understand her perfectly. "We apologize for any worry our communications blackout may have caused," she continued. "It was necessary to test our technology before making official contact." The large hall filled with whispers and murmurs as aliens from 100 worlds tried to understand how humans, thought to be centuries from achieving space travel, now stood before them. Council leader Trilmax found his voice. How did you achieve all this without detection?" Ambassador Collins smiled. "You watched our TV shows. You listened to our radio. But while you heard what we were saying, you never truly understood who we are." She gestured to her team. "This is Dr. Ben Morris, our chief scientist. This is General Laura Hayes, our military advisor. And these are representatives from 18 Earth nations. We are ready to join the galactic community as partners, not as subjects." Trilnax looked at the other council members, unsure what to say next. This had never happened before. Science Minister Vorknell stepped forward. "We welcome Earth's delegation," he said, "though this is unusual. Normally we make first contact when a species is ready." "And who decides when we're ready?" asked Ambassador Collins. "We decided for ourselves." As formal talks began, Defense Minister Orla Sek moved closer to Vorknell and whispered, "I've studied human history. Do you know what worries me most about these creatures?" "What?" asked Vorknell. "Every major advance they've made came during times of conflict or competition. They built these ships and shields while at peace. Imagine what they could do if truly threatened." Meanwhile, on Earth, schools and universities were teaching classes about alien species. Stores were selling toys that looked like Galactic Council members. TV shows were making special episodes about space travel. In the EDI headquarters, Admiral Foster watched a live feed of the council meeting. "It's working," said Dr. Jordan, standing beside him. "They're taking us seriously." "Did you ever doubt they would?" asked Admiral Foster with a smile. "Honestly, yes," she admitted. "We took a huge risk." "A necessary risk," said General Rodriguez, joining them. "If we had waited for them to contact us, we would have been at their mercy." In the small town of Lakeside, people gathered at Joe's Bar and Grill to watch the council meeting on TV. Frank Miller raised his glass. "To the aliens who stopped by," he said with a grin. "Thanks for the wake-up call." Everyone laughed and raised their glasses. Across the galaxy, the news spread quickly. Earth was silent no more. Humans had arrived on the galactic stage in their own way, on their own terms, and nothing in the universe would ever be quite the same again.